Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Deal with D&J. I'm your co-host, Jacob Pearl. As you can see, no DJ McCatherine today. Instead, we got your college football savant, the Hunter Malone of the Green Dog Podcast. Welcome onto the show. We got lots to cover. As you can see by what he's wearing, hockey aficionado like myself. We're going to talk some college football. He's just there to drink beer and yell, shoot the puck. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, for real. That's really what I'm itching for.
We're going to talk some college football. We're going to talk some NFL. We're going to talk some NHL, a.k.a. I'm going to do a lot of talking. Hunter's going to do a lot of, whatever research that he did in the
listening.
2 hour.
I'm going to do a lot of listening.
A lot of listening. That's going to be uncomfortable for him, honestly. No, let's dive into it here, Hunter. We had an eventful week 5, or not a week 5, that's NFL. Eventful week 6. We're having an eventful week 7 this week. First and foremost, what stood out to you from week 7 last week to you? Give me your top teams that you saw last week.
Last week, I think the one thing that stood out is the Manning curse against Florida that's still alive. No Manning that has ever worn 16 has beaten Florida either home or away. I thought, hearing that from a Gator fan, I thought it was made up. Eli is 2-0, with one of them, I think, being on the bench, but just kind of crazy that, Peyton never beat Florida, and now here's Archie, and, continues to struggle, and hasn't grown at all during the season, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Other than that, I saw Miami taking care of business. That wasn't crazy to me. I said Bama turned it around back when they beat Wisconsin. It was like Ty Simpson looks good. That offense looks like it got put together. They didn't want to be there week 1. And week 2 was against the scrub. I said week 3, if they come back and play good, they're going to be dangerous. And that's exactly what they are. Texas Tech, they continue to win. I think that's something that...
Winning impressively, too.
Yeah, it's purely, it's a lot of transfers in there, which typically takes a little bit of time to gel and mesh, and the fact that they haven't had any hiccups is crazy.
They hit on all of them. You normally, when you get transfers, you hope you hit on... you hope 2 of them are studs on the offense. Maybe you get a guy who's a good O-lineman, right? And on defense, you just hope he can have plug-and-play guys, right? Try and fill your holes. But, Texas Tech has... And the thing is, you're not going to hit on all your transfers, but they have hit on every single guy. Every single guy.
In the wide receiver room. They went out and spent money, and they've all produced at a very high level.
Yeah, it's impressive what's happening over in Lubbock. And the thing is, it's you're not asking Morton to go win you games. He's game managing. No, he just don't mess it up, man. Against Houston, I had it just right here. He had 345 yards passing on 28 completions on 40 attempts and 1 touchdown. Slinging the rock. 35-11 win over Houston. UCLA took down Penn State. Is Penn State dead in the water?
I think that's got to be the only disqualifying game that I can think of where he went from 7 to unranked. That should scream to you what the AP, who aren't the brightest, think of you. It is I don't know how James Franklin is still there. He can't win the big game, and now he is struggling against horrific teams. UCLA didn't lead for a single second of the season before that game. Not 1 second.
And it's not like either quarterback played great. Nico only had 166 yards passing, but he had 128 yards on the ground. He had 5 total touchdowns between himself. And then Drew Aller, and the thing is, what I think is even more mind-boggling, especially if you're a Penn State fan, is the fact that Drew Aller didn't play terrible. He had 200 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. And they had 157 yards on the ground. They turned the ball over 3 times, but they only turned over the ball once, right? With Luke Reynolds fumbling, but he didn't throw any picks, and don't let it fool you. They got smoked. They were down 27-7 at halftime, and it just kept getting worse. And it's the score looked close. Yeah, because you can kind of ease up. Penn State had to pull a miracle to try and come back in that. I will say, I want to jump to Arch Manning here. I do agree that we're in week 7, and it's like I saw a clip, and they ran a play action play. It's the play action play. You fake the ball to the running back, he rolls out, and the tight end is like right there in the flat, and then other guys hitting the high arc to try and to push the defense out. The guy was open the minute Arch turned, and he waited, and then finally threw in the ball. He almost didn't even get in the end zone. And it's like, Arch, the minute I see a dude open, you got to throw it. And the footwork is a problem. The accuracy is a problem. It just doesn't look like it's clicking or meshing for him. And if you're a Texas team, you also don't really have a better option behind Arch right now. So it's kind of like you went from the number 1 team in the country to 7 weeks to being unranked. Now you're going to bring in a John Mateer Oklahoma team. And even if it's not John Mateer, Hawkins has done phenomenal too for Oklahoma.
Hawkins played almost all of last year. Like, you saw Hawkins last year in the game.
Yeah. And the defense for Oklahoma is much, much better than it's ever been in the Brent Venables, time.
Well, he picked up the defense. He said, I'm calling the plays.
Yeah.
So you knew they were going to come correct because this is ass-saving season.
Yep. And, for Arch, I don't know what the solution is. I think if you're a Texas fan, let's just hope you make a bowl game and be okay. And you're throwing the season away, and it's going to feel like a waste. But remember, this is the guy you wanted to start over Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers is owed an apology.
I was just about to say, I saw one dude on TikTok, and it's going viral because he goes, Quinn, I'm so sorry for everything I said about you last year.
Yep.
I'm so sorry. You used to make me so mad, and you didn't throw the greatest deep ball. But, man, I'm so sorry that we didn't give you the love and we wanted Arch. And I was like, man, there need to be more videos like this. Because it's right, man. You guys wanted Quinn Ewers out so bad after you went out and got him. And he was a game manager. He didn't win you games, and he tried to lose you some games and did end up losing you some games. But you should have known, if Arch can't start over a 7th-round draft pick, we should have known something was up. And I told you, he was in Louisiana and like 2A football. It's like not exactly playing against any 4 or 5 stars out there. He's playing against you and me. I was like, it's going to be a lot faster for him, and it looks too fast. It looks like he doesn't believe in what he sees. He doesn't trust anything. He has no feel for the pocket. He is stepping into linemen and defensive guys, tackling them. He's
missing
throwing off
throws.
His back foot. Like, the angles are cool when you hit him in stride. Like, Matthew Stafford can throw the ball sidearm because he can throw the ball sidearm. Like, if you didn't play shortstop, you don't know how to do that. If you don't practice that 100 times a day, you don't know how to do that. Stop trying. He doesn't look comfortable, and I thought he was hurt. And they refused to say that he's hurt. But he was wincing on throws. He doesn't look comfortable. Like, there's something wrong with him. And I think it's more than just mental.
Yeah, I don't know where we go with Arch. I think you said it perfectly. Like, I don't want to add more to it. Like, it's exactly what it is with Arch. I want to talk a little bit about Miami here before we jump into the Week 7 slate. Impressive showing in Tallahassee. Carson Beck elevating himself to Theismann frontrunner. I think some people have Ty Simpson. I currently have Ty Simpson. Just the way he's throwing the ball and how has bounced, Alabama back. But Carson Beck is slinging the rock over in Miami. And Ruben Bain, man, what a dog. Malachi Toney. This is one of the best. Miami last year, Miami was good. But you never could believe in them for some reason, right?
The defense.
But now you see it. They have real dogs everywhere. And Carson Beck's just playing football. He's not worried about, the twin who is trying to do all these different things. No, he's balling out Miami. Let a little white boy speak a little Espanol down there, right? He's looking phenomenal. I saw something the other day where it's like Carson Beck really just played himself back up into a first round pick conversation, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going that far yet, but he's better than what he was last season.
First round pick might be a stretch. I don't think first quarterback off the board is one. I think last year's quarterback class was pretty weak. And I think This year is pretty weak as well. I don't think you need to stretch for a first round. I think Carson Beck being a second round or a third round pick isn't crazy. Like, your first 2 rounds should be starters. Your third and fourth high end like backups. That's like where you go and get your Jalen Hurts, where it's like, hey, you're not starting day one, but we'll let you develop, and after 2-3 years, you need to prove it. Otherwise, cutting ties.
Yeah.
And then 5, 6, and 7 are just depth pieces you hope pan out. Carson Beck, when it comes to the Heisman Trophy watch, probably shouldn't be there because he's like, his run game is way better than like Ty Simpson's in Alabama. Alabama can't run the ball; they got to throw the ball. You got to hit quick screens, bubble passes to really stretch out the defense to open up the run. Whereas Miami has 3 running backs that can kill you all day long. You got Fletcher. You got Lyle, who's a speed guy, and then you have Brown, who is coming from North Dakota State. All 3 of them are high-end running backs. So you got 3 guys that can tote the rock like a 1. You got the best offensive line in the country in front of you, and then you have Malachi Tony, who's a speed guy, the freshman that's been playing out of his mind. C.J. Daniels is like, finally I got a quarterback that's got me. I mean, granted, he had Nuss Bus before, but that was last year and the year before, and just Lyle and Fletcher could catch it out the backfield as well. Tight ends look all right, and then the defense is a defense. Last year, all the DBs got hurt early last season, and so you had to start true freshmen who were green. They weren't ready to go, and you were forced to play them, which is why the defense was terrible. If you know what you're doing and you put a freshman up against me, he knows high school ball. I know grown man football. I should be able to bully him all day long. Syracuse knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
So this year you go out, transfer portal. Hey, this is important. We get depth in this piece. New defensive coordinator. Like, put in your system. Let's roll. That's exactly what's happened. The defense has become a strong point. Carson Beck ain't going to lose you games. And I think the difference between this year and last year is Miami is embracing Carson Beck, whereas Georgia was, hey, Gunnar Stockton's at the door. Let him in. So when you don't have somebody breathing down your neck, he can go ahead and teach Luke Nickel everything this season. And Luke Nickel probably gets the keys to the castle next season.
Jumping ahead here, Virginia takes down Louisville in a great game, by the way, for those that did watch on their quad box. Virginia winning in overtime. Chandler Morris, if Virginia continues to get better and continues to run this ACC, I'm not going to say Heisman or any of that, but like, he's a guy where you're looking at him going, this guy is playing out of his mind this year, is essentially what I'm trying to get. Cincinnati upsets Iowa State. Ohio State takes care of Minnesota. Texas A&M takes down Mississippi State pretty handedly, 31-9. And BYU takes down West Virginia 38-24 last week. Jumping ahead, another great slate of games. You know what game I'm actually like really excited to kind of just watch just for fun? And it's going to sound gross.
For me, it's Friday's matchup.
Yeah, North Texas, South Florida. That
feels like the first playoff elimination game that like we're anticipating. Not like Penn State losing last week, where like your season's probably done. Like, at best, you're going into
just because they're the
Rose Bowl.
Just because it's a group of 5, like the stakes of this game are so massive for both programs.
And the American Conference is good. They're deep.
They're
with money.
great. The Americans getting the G5 pick. It's between 4 teams in my eyes out of the American. USF, North Texas, Tulane, Memphis. Those are the 4.
Yeah.
Like, and this game here is going to be great. You got North Texas just slinging the rock all over the yard. Then you get Bynum Brown. USF ranked. Only loss has been to Miami, some argue the best team in the country. North Texas going all blackout with the sick metallic wings on the helmet. They canceled class on Friday, Hunter, at North Texas up in Denton. This game means massive, massive stakes in Denton. And like, people are listening and they're like, who cares? They're a group of 5. They're going to lose in the first round. I don't care. This is week 7, and we already have arguably a do-or-die game for both these programs. Not arguably, is a do-or-die game for both these programs. If USF lose, they're done. North Texas gets to keep their hopes alive. If North Texas lose, they're done. USF gets to keep their hopes alive.
I feel like if USF loses, there is a sliver of chance just because you did go into the swamp and win.
Mm-hmm.
You did beat Boise State, who is probably going to win the Mountain West, and you didn't get embarrassed completely against Miami. So I think they have a sliver, but they would need to win the American, and they would need some work. But I don't know if they would be done, nor Texas losing to South Florida would be done.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be a phenomenal game tonight. A sneaky noon game here. Alabama going to Faurot Field, the Mizzou Tigers. This is a game. This game here, for Alabama, not really like an end-all be-all because you win into Georgia and everything that comes with that. But for Mizzou, I'm not going to say this is everything, but if you win this game, the world is your oyster. Bo Pribula cements himself as the better quarterback than Drew Aller, right? That little argument. Does Ahmad Hardy come out against a very mediocre Alabama run defense? Does he just go nuts? Statistically, they're a mediocre defense. They're like, I think, 105 numeric number-wise.
First game.
They're getting better. Like, the Vanderbilt game, they put Pavia in freaking, prison cell. He couldn't get anything going. But the Mizzou offensive line is built to run. They want to run the ball with Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts, right? And the Mizzou defense, statistically, though, really good in a bunch of categories. But, again, they haven't really played anyone outside of Kansas and South Carolina. Is that enough to battle test you for a team like Alabama clicking on all cylinders with Ty Simpson at 11 a.m. in Columbia, Missouri? I don't know, right? I think, as a Mizzou homer, this is the one game every year where you look at and you're like, we can never beat Bama. It's been the one team we have never been able to beat, them and like Georgia. We've done the other things. But this season also feels like the 2023 season where we welcomed Tennessee to Faurot, or we went to Tennessee, I can't remember which one, and we put the smackdown on Tennessee when we beat them like 36-7. Like, this is what the season feels like. I'm not saying this is what this game's going to feel like. Big 11 a.m. kick, Mizzou, Bama. For Bama, it's not exactly a, rollover game. You got to be on your P's and Q's. Columbia's going to be buzzing. The students have had this game circled for months. The whole 9 yards. Thoughts?
Side note, breaking news. The Yankees have been eliminated from the playoffs.
Oof.
After losing 5-1.
Start spreading the news.
Thoughts on Alabama against Missouri? I think Missouri has not played anyone worth a damn. Kansas is a Jaden Daniels show, and South Carolina is 2 years away from being really good. And at that point, Lenore Sellers will no longer be on the team. South Carolina also only has Lenore Sellers. I think Missouri, as much as I want to believe in Ahmed Hardy, you haven't played anyone, so your offensive line looks good. I think Alabama's front seven is too good. Let's not forget, he's a group of 5 running back. As much as I love when they make that step up and produce, this is his first test. And are you going to be able to break a tackle from an Alabama defensive lineman?
I think he can. I don't want to interrupt you, but did you see the clip of him taking like 4 South Carolina defenders from the 4-yard line into the end zone?
It's also South Carolina, who's 2 years away from being good. Like, to me, I think of them, they're freshmen, they're sophomores, they're babies. I think South Carolina is 2 years away from being really good. So in my mind, those are babies out there. And Ahmed Hardy is a, 2-time 1,000-yard rusher in the group of 5. He's no slouch. Don't let me convince you to think Ahmed Hardy is not a good running back. I think he's a very talented running back. I don't think he's the best running back in the country. And when you're facing UMass and Central Arkansas and Louisiana, I would hope your numbers look great. Kansas doesn't have a defense. I hope your numbers look great.
I will say, as the guy who's been to 2 Mizzou games this year, the Kansas game, which one was bananas, Mizzou's offense looked shaky, right? I wasn't in love with it. It was, obviously it's week 2, so you're still trying to work out the kinks. That's what you kind of attributed to. And Kansas by no means was a bad team. We just gave Jalen Daniels too much time, let him do too much with the ball. And then the Mizzou defense stepped up in the second half and really put the lockdown on him. And obviously against I went to the UMass game, and the offense again looked. The good word to describe it is anemic. Like, it's UMass. Why aren't we throwing 50-yard bombs? You know what I'm saying? Drink was very conservative, and maybe it's a whole like, well, we don't want to show the playbook. It's like, brother, it's week 5. Like, I don't know what your approach is, but it's week 5 now. Like, we gotta. I don't know.
I'm a little showing your playbook by week 5. You're not playing anyone.
Like, I'm a little worried for the Mizzou offense. The Mizzou defense, I'm somewhat worried, but it's the Mizzou defense. Like, the passing numbers are not like we're technically like a top 10 passing defense. I don't believe it for a second. You know what I mean? Like, that's where it's like you played Central Arkansas and Louisiana and UMass. But the run defense has been legit. Like, we held South Carolina to negative rushing yards, like, in that game. I think we held them to negative 9 rushing yards in week 4. So, you know, for Mizzou, it's put up or shut up, really. You know, it's Ahmad Hardy did have 138 yards and a touchdown against South Carolina. But South Carolina had negative 9 rushing yards. And if you take out Lenora Sellers' minus 28 rushing, they had...
Yeah, from sacks.
They had 19 total rushing yards. The Mizzou defense in the Mizzou run game, the run defense, I think is legit. But again, Alabama may not have to run the ball to beat Missouri when Ty Simpson is throwing 350 yards a game, you know? And you know me, I'm going to ride with my Mizzou Tigers. If we win, I will be blowing everyone's phone up. I'm going to be hooting and hollering. I'm going to be everywhere. But I have a lot of reservations.
Yeah. To play devil's advocate for South Carolina, the week before they got completely embarrassed by Vandy. So they literally got exposed, and Lenore Sellers was injured in that game. So you got to face the blueprint of how to whoop that team with Lenore Sellers still being injured. So makes sense why he was still a statue in the pocket, getting negative yards when he is a very real threat on the run. And he is their number 1 threat in the air, but the number 1 threat on the ground as well. Still, if that's your toughest test is a wounded quarterback, this is scary. I would be terrified if I'm a Mizzou fan, especially considering you know the past. They tend to piss down their legs in big games. And you were worried that was going to happen against South Carolina. I said they would win by 10. They won by 9, so I was wrong. But for this, I think Alabama comes in and just shows up and shows out. They're going to be their first. Well, no, because they played Georgia. I was thinking it was going to be their first primetime game since, like, FSU, but it's not, because they also played, who else did they play? Oh, Vandy.
Yeah, I'm riding my Tigers. I'm not comfortable doing it, but I am going to ride with them. It is like you said, you're not going to enjoy how it goes down. You're going to, as a Mizzou fan, you're probably going to understand what's going to happen, but for some odd reason, maybe we find some true sun magic, and Bo Bubula becomes a Mizzou legend in this game and becomes the first Mizzou quarterback to beat Bama. So we'll see. We'll see. Jumping down here to, I'm trying to do things in the numerical order in terms of kickoff times. Let's jump and talk about, I guess we'll talk about the Red River Shootout. The Red River Rivalry, however you want to call it. Texas, Oklahoma. This is a game for Oklahoma where this puts you significantly in the driver's seat in the SEC. That's how I view this game. And it's not because, you beat Texas. It's you win this game, and I believe the rest of the schedule, I think, shakes out really positively for Oklahoma for the rest of the year to, like, go and get it. Like,
they have Ole Miss.
Never mind, I lied to you. Apparently, I didn't look at the schedule.
Bama, and
never mind.
at the end of the year. No, their schedule sucks.
Yeah, never mind. Take whatever you guys just heard, erase it from your memories because I didn't read. Jacob.
Oh, and Mizzou.
You get Mizzou, you go to Bama, you go to Tennessee, you get Ole Miss, and
basically,
you get LSU.
What I'm hearing is if you win today, you are bowl eligible.
You are bowl eligible, correct. And Oklahoma fans, I want you to hold on to this top 5 ranking. I want you to hold on to it because you may not get it back. But I think if you're Oklahoma, though, this is a game that you're looking forward to, not because it's a rivalry, but you get John Mateer back. Potentially get John Mateer back. I think this game had a ton of juice, but now that Texas is dog. Those games are always super competitive, though. You kind of show up and 6-7. But it's where do you go? I don't know how I think for me, if Texas loses this game, there's going to be Austin might disintegrate. Like, fans are going to be mad. Like, they're going to not want Arch to be the quarterback, which poor kid, first and foremost. We're talking about Arch, kids, whatever he, 20, 19, 21, I don't know. But, like, if you're Texas, like, if you lose this game, that's 3 losses on the year. Now you're completely out of the CFP conversation. Where do you go from here if you lose this game? You just go cry down 6th Street and drink your sorrows away?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. When we think of Steve Sarkisian, we should put him in the same bubble as James Franklin. And let me explain to you why. I pulled this up because I knew not to share this with you until now. Stark is, what do you think his record would be versus top 10 teams at Texas?
His record against AP top 10 teams?
Yes. He's played in 10 games. 10 games at Texas. What do you think it is?
Top 10 teams. I'm going to go with 1-9.
Very close. He is 2-8. All time, he is 15-18 versus top 10 teams. And think about it. Last season.
So is he just James Franklin adjacent?
Yeah. Last season, he played one SEC team who finished ranked. Guess who that was? He played him twice. Georgia. And lost both times. So when it comes down to the big games, Stark pisses down his legs. The lights are too bright. We've just seen Arch Manning. Every light is too bright. He struggled at, University of Texas El Paso? Was it UTEP? Horrible. Struggled against UTEP. What was the other team? Sam Houston they struggled against. 2 god-awful. San Jose State they struggled against. And then UTEP, you only put 27 points up on UTEP. You go into Florida, get shelled. And if you don't think that Oklahoma can't run that ball the same way that Florida did, you're sadly mistaken. Hawkins, whether it's Hawkins or Mateer knows that offense inside and out and will probably put 50 on your head, fully healthy. I think with the injury, don't know how his throwing is, how comfortable taking snaps are, because he did injure his right hand, so that's the top hand whenever you're snapping the ball. I think it's one hard snap might just kick him out. But Hawkins, even then, he's a mobile quarterback who's played in the game before. He was not going to be too scared of the moment. It's going to be a worse defense than what he saw last year, and Oklahoma's ready for this. I don't see how Oklahoma loses this game, but rivalries, I always say, should be a coin flip.
Jumping ahead to another matchup here, Oregon, Indiana. I guess the Fraud Bowl, is a good way to describe it, maybe. I don't know. For Indiana, it's like, this could be a different... Like, to me, for Indiana, if you can come into this game and hold your own against this Oregon team and, keep it competitive, you will have gained my respect, right? Because as of right now, it feels like the same old Indiana story. Granted, Fernando Mendoza is much better than Curtis Rourke was last year. Much better. But it's hard to not remember what it was last year as we got gaslit, being told Indiana was good when they didn't really play anyone, but then being gaslighted into thinking the Big Ten was good. While the Big Ten is better this year, they were playing cupcakes. They played Northwestern, Rutgers, a bunch of teams in a string of games. Oregon, though, top 10 victory. You get it at home. Dante Moore may solidify himself into this Heisman race. That was disgusting from the Los Angeles Kings. Oh my God, Quentin Byfield got sidetracked there for a second. If you're Oregon, though, you got Dan Lanning, you got Indiana coming into town. Dante Moore can solidify himself. You got Oregon that solidified themselves in the Big Ten. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? It was nasty. Forehand, backhand, lifted it up over the pad.
On the forehand, or did he go backhand and pop it up?
He went forehand, backhand, popped it up over the pad. As he split the defenders, bang.
Gross.
Disgusting. Anyways,
we've got a quad box going, so it's the furthest one away. I'm like, what did you do?
What do you do over there? How do you feel? How do you feel about Indiana this year? How are you feeling? I think we're both in agreement on the quarterback situation. I think we're both in agreement that the defense is somewhat better. But something about it is holding me back from believing that Indiana's this bona fide Big Ten contender now.
I mean, last year, you knew they were going to go at least 6-0. I think their over-under was 6. And I was like, that's wrong. and I hammered it personally, threw 100 on it, flipped it. That was like, I was like, this is wrong. Like, this is like a JMU team that just won like 9 games. You bring them over here with, some real money and some more talent. Like, this is easy. Like, I thought it was, I was almost second guessed myself. And this year, you have pretty much the same blueprint. We add in a little more depth. You definitely get an upgrade at the quarterback with Mendoza, that I think this is a real team. And if they're playing cupcakes, it almost reminds me of the COVID year Ohio State. Remember when they went 7-0, didn't play anyone, or they went 6-0, didn't play anyone. Their Michigan game got canceled. The only real test and real threat against them. Then they I think they got given the Big Ten championship, and you rolled into the playoffs without having to do anything and 100% healthy, while everyone else was, 11-1, 12-0 with a conference game. Like, they all played full seasons except for the Big Ten.
Talking about Oregon or Indiana here?
No, that was Ohio State. You made the
yeah.
that the Big Ten wasn't that deep, even though the number one team last year was Oregon, and the defending champions are Ohio State.
I think it's an extremely top-heavy conference in comparison to like what the SEC is, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you like I think the SEC is still a much better conference than the Big Ten. But like we're going to sit here and talk about Northwestern being any good.
I mean, we're gonna Vandy every year without Pavia. That's Mississippi State every year now.
But they're all good. But they're all good this year. Auburn's what? What's Auburn's adjacent to what? Maryland? To Iowa? Even though Maryland's low-key kind of nice this year.
Maryland's young and coming up, but
when you look at the bottom of the conference, you got Purdue, Rutgers. You got Wisconsin's terrible. Northwestern's bad.
It's a different style for sure too.
And also I got a gripe as well with it. I'll save it for the end about James Franklin's terrible comments about the travel. You signed up for this. You guys all signed up for this. Don't for it. If Indiana goes to Eugene and Kurt Signetti gets blown out of the freaking water and goes into the Pacific, comes back to Indiana, and he's like, the travel was rough. I'm going to go to Bloomington myself and show him the television rights contract that they have all sacrificed their soul for. Guess what, brother? You didn't have to go play Oregon this year. You could have gone play Penn State somewhere else. No, this is what you guys all signed up for. I digress. Continue.
Yeah, I think Indiana obviously got the luck with the schedule. That was a huge factor in it. With this year, still getting some more luck. Having to face Illinois is never an easy thing. Illinois is a very good, very talented team. I do believe Indiana is more talented, and then showed how much more talented they are. And then I think Iowa was a look-ahead game. Like, if you ignore Iowa, they are blowing everyone out except for Old Dominion, which for whatever reason is like a small kryptonite for Signetti. Old Dominion plays Signetti very difficult, and Virginia Tech extremely difficult.
Yeah, I will say, Iowa would be a good football team if they knew how to run an offense.
Yeah, the defense is always elite. The tight ends are always good. It's just, would you want to do you want to live in Iowa?
No.
Do you want to go to school? No. So why would a 4 or 5 star guy go, Iowa? No, that's gross. I'm good. I think they have to, if they're going to be good, they have to find a Pavia or a Dampier that is willing to go over there. And I don't want to say they have to service academy their offense, but they have to do something different. It's awful. And the passing scheme, whoever's the passing game coordinator, terrible. That needs to get fixed. And now that now that Penn State is terrible, Indiana's schedule looks extremely favorable. That, obviously, if you go into Oregon and win, you're going to go 12-0 and play for the Big 12 championship. You don't have any real tests other than Maryland, who we talked about. But you see Purdue and Wisconsin, those are easy dubs. And then UCLA and Michigan State, I'd like to chalk up as cake. And then you have Penn State, who is, I mean, they have Drew Allard, and he is allergic to making plays when it matters. So whether you win that close or by a blowout, I think you still win that. I think Oregon is probably a loss. That is a huge factor, though, traveling across the country, getting ready for a game while jet lagged, and traditionally when West Coast teams come east, they don't perform well, and vice versa. So I think that is a factor. I mean, we just saw it with Penn State traveling all the way to UCLA. We saw it the weekend before when somebody went to USC and they didn't perform well. So it's a real factor to consider, but I don't believe that's the reason why Indiana will lose to Oregon. I think Oregon's just the more talented team, and I think they're coached pretty equally. If not, I would give the edge to Dan Lanning, being from the Saban tree. I think that
He's
Oregon
also
has,
pure psycho.
Yeah, like Oregon has every advantage in this, including home turf.
Yeah. It feels really skewed. I will say, Indiana somehow finds a way to win this game. They have the right quarterback to go in there and go get a win with Mendoza. So
Even then, Mendoza hasn't won shit. They
I know
couldn't even beat Miami with third-string DBs.
yeah, still like Mendoza a lot better than some other quarterbacks going around. Hunter, are we missing any other games that you would like to talk about? Miami's on a bye this week, I believe. Texas A&M Florida is a game to keep an eye on because there's not a better coach in America than Billy Napier fighting for his job. So we'll keep an eye on that game. Ohio State at Illinois could be an entertaining game on the quad box up there in Champaign. Other than that, nothing crazy. Georgia got to go to Auburn. Michigan's got to go to USC. South Carolina to LSU. Going to be a great slate, as always. A lot of big games. Hunter, transitioning to the NFL here. I know you're not the biggest NFL guy. That's okay. But I just want you... We're just going to talk very quickly about the NFL here. Because there's a lot of surprising teams here, right? If I was to tell you that... If I was going to tell you that the 49ers would be 4-1, you wouldn't be surprised, would you? No. How about if I told you they were 4-1 with Mac Jones as their starting quarterback for 3 games?
I do really like Mac Jones. I think in a good system, he would thrive. Granted, we saw him with one good system. That was his rookie year for the Pats, and he did fantastic. But other than that, he had Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator, picking offensive plays.
Yeah. I just want you to just listen to this. What do the Bengals, the Texans, the Chiefs, and the Carolina Panthers all have in common?
I was going to say leading the division up until you said the Panthers. They are probably what? What week are we in? 6?
Gonna be week 6, correct.
Are they all 2 and 3?
They are all 2 and 3, yes.
Yeah.
The Panthers, the Chiefs, Texans, Bengals are all 2 and 3. Who would have thought, right? Chiefs are 2 and 3. They lost that game in Jacksonville at the very end with Trevor Lawrence he did everything to try and lose that game, and he still won it, right? The Jags look good defensively. They have the most takeaways in the league. It looks like an elite defense over in Jacksonville. The Indianapolis Colts are just wrecking everybody. Daniel Jones isn't doing much, but Jonathan Taylor has remembered that he's a good running back and is just crushing people. And the defense for Indiana is much, much improved. You know who I really like right now that I've been super impressed by? The New England Patriots. The New England Patriots have been super impressive to me. Super impressive. Drake May has taken the next step up. The Patriots defense looks like a Vrabel defense. They're utilizing Stephon Diggs properly. If only they could not give Ramondre Stevenson the ball. They would be a perfect team right now.
Well, they lost Gibson for the year. He tore his Achilles, which means Gibson's getting, Ramondre is getting more of the workload.
You got to use some Trevion Henderson. He's electric too. But the NFL, man, has been a little bit surprising. There's still so much time. Like the Vikings are 3-2, but they're not like sexy 3-2. The Bears are gonna get better. The Rams, Seahawks, and Niners are just like battling in the NFC West right now. Like Darnold looks really good. The Rams look really good. So the NFL, there's a lot going on here. This AFC North, apparently the Baltimore Ravens are terrible. Their defense is terrible. Lamar Jackson's hurt. What more do you want to know? Right, but let's get into the meat of it before Hunter starts getting real eepy over there. Because it's a gonna be 11 p.m. his time. He's a real
So
one.
love it.
He's a real one for staying on for the Deal with D&J here. It is much appreciated.
The 9 to 5 warrior, so I got to be up at like 6:30 to make it because Tampa traffic sucks.
Yeah. That's the one perk of living in a small town. It takes me 10 minutes to get to work every day.
Takes me an hour to get to the parking garage.
Well, Hunter, I want to keep this somewhat short, somewhat in-depth. Maybe we can be a little bit of both here. NHL season has officially kicked off. We would be in like the first set of games now, the first week of games. You're wearing all Bruins. You're locked in on the Bruins this year. Unfortunately, I hate to break it to you, your team sucks this year. But you did get a win tonight.
We are so ass.
You did get a win. You did get a win.
And I sent you my futures bets where I put $5 on them to make the playoffs, go over on points, and win the division or win the conference. Dude, it was like plus 10,000. So I made a $15 donation to Hard Rock, and they thanked me for it. I understand this, and I was texting my buddy Dylan, who was a very high-level hockey goalie up until he got a career-ending injury. Like, he was supposed to be drafted last draft. And him and I both agreed when it came to the Bruins. Having just, what was it, Lindholm as our number one center, what horrible. That's going to set you up for, like, that's like having a team and going, hey, Nick Paul's going to be our number one. Like, what? What did you just say to me? What? No, that should never be it. They did go, they want to be faster, they want to be lighter, almost like what the Lightning were 5 years ago. And the Panthers have shown you how to win. You get people on long contracts, less money, build around them, like get a core. And unfortunately, our core died years ago. We didn't keep Coyle or any of the pieces that we had. We didn't keep Jake DeBrusk. We didn't sign all these people, and you're seeing that, you know, it's a tank for the kid in Penn State, which I'm totally cool for. You just have to get him.
You got to win the lottery.
You have to win the lottery, and, like, I don't know how much he needs to be bribed, but bribe the commissioner, because if you could get that kid with Pasta, with Swayman, with Charlie McAvoy, there's your core. There's your core to get back into it.
Yeah, for Boston, you know, they had to sell the farm. You had to trade away Brad Marchand, which once you do that, you signal to your entire fan base that we're going to suck for the next 3 years at a minimum. At a minimum, because you got to wait for some of these draft picks that you get and who you draft. You got to wait for them to develop. You got to wait for them to maybe get through college or get through juniors. And then you got to hope they're strong enough when they're 21 to maybe make the jump, but they're going to spend some time in the AHL. So, like, it's really a 3 to 5 year rebuild potentially for Boston. The thing for Boston that's potentially like something to keep kind of maybe to hang your hat on is that you still have Swayman, and Swayman's a very good goalie. You have a very good defense core in Charlie McAvoy. Yep. I'm blanking on some other guys who are pretty big for the Bruins.
Big Z in the second line is
yep.
very good. You have
we're still like you got Yoke Haru, right? You got Hampus Lindholm. You got Mason Lohrei, who's 24. He's going to be a stud. So the defense core for Boston is really young. Like, Zadorov is your oldest guy. McAvoy's 27, entering his prime. Swayman's 26. He's going to be fine. Pasta, you got good depth pieces with Arvidsson and Janot. But like you mentioned, you got Lindholm, you got Zaka, Mittelstadt. You know, you got some guys whose names I've never even seen before. Morgan Geeky.
We definitely have the worst bottom six. Like, Easymont's a kid from the Lightning last year who's okay. He's nothing great. Beecher made the team from a crazy goal. Like, it was the sexiest goal of the preseason, but it was one of those when you saw it, you wanted it to be Blumel. You wanted it to be literally anyone but Beecher, and because Beecher was it and none of the forwards really set themselves apart, the rest of the cats, they got sent to AAA. They got sent to Providence.
I will say, if Boston's in a wild card spot, that's a problem for Boston, because you don't want to be good, because you want to sell some of these guys. You want to sell Arvidsson. You want to sell Janot to playoff teams. You want to sell Casey Mittelstadt to playoff teams. Maybe you sell Zadorov or Yoke Haru to playoff teams. Or you sell Corpusalo at some point.
Man, we sold the farm last year.
I'm not saying you got to settle for him again.
Man, we sold everyone last year. This is who's left.
This is who you re-signed, brother. This is who you were able to get. I don't think Boston's going to be terrible. But
He's on a big contract.
He is on a big contract. You got to get out of that. That's for sure.
It's nothing like cap killing, but it's like 5 years.
I will say I don't think Boston finishes in last because I think that is reserved for Buffalo. But
I don't know. We're pretty Buffalo Buns.
You are. Put that on a shirt, people.
We are Buffalo Buns.
It is bad.
When it comes to Sabres, it's all hype and what ifs, but like
they don't have a goalie. They thought his name was Wolf.
Wolf.
They thought not Wolf.
No, Wolf's on another team. Because I remember hearing.
I'm forgetting about it. He was the Northeastern goalie. Devin Levi. There we go. Devin Levi. They thought he was going to be the truth, and he can't even get out of, whoever. So instead, they're playing Georgiev, who could be solid for them. The Finn, you got Colton Ellis, Alex Line. They got 4 goalies. They got all the youth, though. Like, Owen Power's so good. Rasmus Dahlin's legit. Bowen Byram's good. Like, Danforth's fine. Josh Doan is solid. Like, they got... And obviously, you have Tage Thompson, who's also just an absolute freak. I think if you're looking, though, at the Atlantic Division in a nutshell, it's going to be the same 3. It's going to be Toronto, Florida, Tampa, maybe in that order. And then you have Montreal and Ottawa battling for a potential wild card spot.
I really like Montreal this year.
I really like Montreal as well. They did lose tonight or last night. But even if they're, like, I just love the way Montreal's built. You went and got Noah Dobson to pair up with Lane Hudson, who, if you haven't watched Lane Hudson play, he is essentially Kel McCarr Jr. He is so good. They don't really have a goalie, so I like Jakob Dobbs, but he's 24, so they're going to keep playing Montrebolt, which is okay. Damdov is really good. Cole Caulfield's a freak. You love this guy here, Nick Suzuki. You love Nick Suzuki.
I love Nick Suzuki. He is everything that I want a captain to be. He has a lot of Brad Marchand in him, just without like a dickheadness, which, I mean, I'm glad because he's on Montreal. I don't want him to be dickhead. But the top line is so good for them that the bottom 6 needs to step up this year in order to kind of take the pressure off of the boys.
Agreed. I think Montreal has everything going for them. If they can catch lightning in a bottle again like they did last year, a big win for the Montreal organization that will probably continue to get better. But for me, and I think my prediction that I said in my TikTok was I picked Toronto, Florida. Nope, relax. Toronto, Florida, Tampa, Montreal are the 4. And in the Metro, the Metro's interesting because there's a lot of trash in the Metropolitan. You have the Flyers, who are just hoping to be relevant. The Columbus Blue Jackets, probably in the same boat. They have a lot of young guys. I love Zach Wenerski. Obviously, they have...
they went and picked up Coyle.
They did get Coyle. They got the kid from Michigan, Adam Fantilli. Like, they have some players. Volkranov isn't terrible. They have Marchenko.
They're at the point, and they're at that phase of their rebuild where they're in prove-it mode. It's like, we've given you enough leash. This is all you get. You need to show me something in order for us to keep you around.
I don't know if it's prove-it mode, but it's definitely like, do you want to continue to be a Columbus Blue Jacket type of year?
I mean, prove it as in, not, hey, we're going to the, Eastern Conference Finals, but more like, hey, we need to step it up and get close to playoff push, or this first half needs to be good enough to where we think about buying.
Yeah, that's very true. Looking at New Jersey has a great goalie tandem of Jacob Markstrom and Jake Allen. They have a sneaky good defense core of Dougie Hamilton, who's one of the best defensemen in hockey. Dougie Hamilton. You got Luke Hughes. You have Brett Pesce. Siegenthaler is really solid, right? And then the offense should be fine with Meyer, Nosen, Palat, Connor Brown, Dodov. And then Nico Hirscher, Dawson Mercer. You just got to hope Jack Hughes can play 50-plus games. He was so injured. He's always so injured. I expect Washington to take a massive step back. I don't think they have the goaltending to accomplish what they did last year. I think last year was such a out of body experience for Washington that they're going to regress massively. New York, I expect to be back in the playoff push, and I think Carolina is the favorite in the Metro. I think for my 4 teams, I think I went Carolina, New York, New Jersey, and Washington, because I do think my bold prediction is Sidney Crosby gets traded this year, because Pittsburgh is quickly diving into the Western Conference. This is where my Blues are. So, you went on a little Bruins tangent. I'm going to go on a little Blues tangent here, people. Funny enough, surprisingly, we didn't talk about Tampa on the Atlantic side. Tampa's just going to do what they do best. Coast, win a bunch of games. Vasilevsky's going to be elite. Kucherov's going to be a top 5 player, and then potentially get smoked in the playoffs because Kucherov forgets how to put the puck in the net. Now that we cleared that up, the Blues, I think, are a wild card team, potentially vying for that 3rd spot in the division. Rob Thomas is going to take a massive step up again. I think Jordan Kyrou had a great bounce back year last year. Right, I love Schenner as the captain. Dylan Holloway, if he did what he did last year again, he's in line for a big contract with us. I think Jake Neighbors takes another step up. I love Jimmy Snuggerud. This kid out of Minnesota, he's a walking highlight reel. And the defense core, ever since, we lost Torrey Krug, but we re-signed Cam Fowler, and I love Cam Fowler on that defense because your starting 6 is going to be Colton Parayko, Philip Broberg, who also had another breakout year, Justin Falk, Cam Fowler, Matthew Kessel, UMass guy, and Logan Malo. And then, if Bennington continues to do what he does best and just play really high-quality hockey, and Joel Hofer's right there behind him to split the tandem in an Olympic year where Bennington's the starting goalie for Canada, cold as ice. Cold as ice, brother. But the Central is top-heavy. Have you seen this division, Hunter? Have you looked at the teams in it?
Yeah, it's very top-heavy. For the Blues, they feel like a middle-ground team. Obviously, you saw that late. They went on that insane stretch.
We went on
the playoffs, and then you have that heartbreak with 2 seconds left. Had to bring that up again.
2019.
For the Blues, I think they are definitely at the point where it is a prove-it year, and you need to turn that potential into consistency. And if you have a really solid first half, the ownership will believe in it and go out and get you those pieces to make a push for the playoff run. But if you have a sleepy beginning, it's really hard to not sell off those pieces. They are very much middle ground.
We are a team where if we are not good, we're gonna get eaten by the vultures. Because they're gonna want Kyrou, they're gonna want Buznetchev, they're gonna want
It'd be a yard sale for sure.
Yeah, they're gonna want Broberg. A lot of teams want Holloway, but Holloway I think has 2 more years with us. We've re-signed Broberg on a team-friendly deal. We'll probably sell Folk. If we're bad, that's if we're bad. But if we're in the middle of the pack, maybe 2 games out of the wild card all year, we're not going to sell the farm. But if we're looking if we're at the bottom of the division, we're selling the farm. But I don't see that happening. Colorado, I have them winning the cup this year. It just the Nate Dogg is hungry, and when the Nate Dogg gets hungry, he finds a way. And Cale Makar's probably going to win another Norris. He's so good. UMass guy. He's so good. The only question mark for them is goaltending. Again.
Ooh, I have a different question mark for them.
Who is it? Is it offense?
It is health.
Health is a big one, correct.
Health is a huge question mark. They had 49 different players on their roster last year.
Yeah.
Because of health. That's the biggest question mark for them. It's not the talent. It's not, we know you can do it. We saw you do it here in Tampa. The question mark is, can you stay healthy? Can you be on the ice? And can you be there when it matters?
I think that's a great point you make because they were incredibly beat up last year. You gave up Mikko Rantanen, which I guarantee you in that series you would love to have Mikko Rantanen not play against you and go for a hat trick.
No,
right?
You didn't want to pay him.
They didn't want to pay him, but guess what? He ended up
They
signing.
paid for it. You certainly paid for it.
Well, you know what's funny is that they offered him the contract. He didn't want to sign the amount there in Colorado. So they trade him to Carolina. Carolina and him were like, nope, this isn't it. So they trade him to Dallas, which Colorado didn't want to have happen. And Dallas is like, we'll give you the contract you're looking for, which was the same contract he wanted in Colorado. This guy, right? But I like the pieces that they added in this offseason, right? They kept Martin Nikas. They have Brock Nelson. If Brock Nelson does not turn out to be that Nazem Kadri that they have been looking for since they run the cup, like, you remember how big of a Nazem Kadri was a pivotal force for them back in that cup?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who they traded him for. Jack Jury.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Jack Jury. You got Joel Kiravane, Landeskog,
Jury, he needs to
Olvason.
step up, and he did well last year.
Nichushkin recused himself from like 20 games last year for player mental health. The defense should be good. Gerard, McCarr, Manson, Taves. They added Brett Burns. Not like they needed veteran leadership, but now you got a real dog in the house. They're led in a goalie tandem with Blackwood and Wedgwood, and Blackwood's currently injured, talking about not starting healthy. Minnesota should be much improved. Winnipeg is Winnipeg. They're going to be great as long as they have Connor Hellebuck. They just re-signed Kyle Connor. The Dallas Stars, I think, take a massive step back because they just lost so much. Like, they still kept a good amount of their core, but they lost Mikael Granlund. They lost somebody, like, they lost a bunch of dudes, you know, but they still have Heiskanen, Harley, Labushkin, Liddell. You have Rantanen, you have Jamie Benn, you have Jason Robertson, Higgins, Steele, Johnson, Rope Hintz. You know, Matt Duchene's probably going to massively regress because he's lost Mason Marchment, who's going to be an underrated loss for them. Jason Robertson hasn't had 90 points at all in his career except for that 1 year in like 22, 23. So if he can do better than that, then like Dallas is in a good spot. But I also sneaky like Utah.
No, I think when it comes to Stars, like, they're contenders for sure. You can't get past the conference finals hump, and that's the big what if. But I mean, they definitely need help defensively, especially when it comes to the depth. But you'll see how that season goes. And with the Jets, last year they were insane, but you lose with Ehlers.
Yeah, they lost Nikola Ehlers.
Yeah, not great. I mean, it's still strong, but the depth's going to get tested. And the goalie was one of the best in hockey, but he struggles in the playoffs.
Yep. Quickly talking about Nashville.
Ew.
On paper, you should be better than what you are, but unfortunately, you spent all the money in that one free agency, and you're probably going to have to rebuild. Like, it's bad. And Chicago is going to be fun. They're young. They're not going to be good, but they're going to be fun.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. Like, I like Nazar. I like Bedard. I like Spencer Knight. They got a kid from Michigan State on there who's the defenseman who I like. They're going to be fun.
I love Spencer Knight. Scoring was an issue last year for them, but throughout the year, the power play got better. And I think with Bedard getting older, he needs to come into becoming the second Sidney Crosby like he's been hyped up to be.
Absolutely agree. I think he just needs to step up to the plate for them. For me, out of the Western Conference, I got Colorado, St. Louis, Winnipeg, and Dallas, the same four from before. That means the Minnesota Wild miss out, which will be shocking after they gave Kirill Kaprizov a large contract. Jumping into the Pacific real quickly, you got Vegas. They added Mitch Marner. The team is pretty much intact from last year. They did lose Alex Pietrangelo. He retired due to medical reasons. That's a big blow to the defense. Big blow. My bold take is Seattle's probably going to be the worst team in the NHL. Like, they are terrible. They are bad. They made some strides to be better, but I don't think they're going to be that much better. I think San Jose is going to be bad again, but they're like in the Chicago realm. They're going to be fun. They got Celebrini, they got Will Smith. They got some young guys who are fun. They're going to be cool. They're going to be fun. And they got a sick...
My notes for the Sharks literally are, Sharks are terrible on paper and will lose a lot of games, but they're going to be one of the more fun teams to watch.
Yeah. Like, they're fun.
Fun on my notes.
They're fun, man. Calgary, I think, is in an interesting position because they're not supposed to be good, but they were like fighting for a wild card spot last year with Dustin Wolf. So
yeah, now they've got the goalie that they want in between the pipes, and its scoring depth is an issue.
Yep.
Like, they have to capitalize on their success last year and also turn that into consistency this year.
You know, Vancouver, will Quinn Hughes smiles ultimately, like, the big question for me. because it looks like he hates his life every single time you see him in a Canucks jersey. The Canucks, though, are interesting because, they gave up Brock Besser. Nope, he's still here. They gave up JT Miller. They gave up somebody else as well that they couldn't, see eye to eye with. I don't know if Thatcher Demko can take the next step up into elite hockey play.
I don't think you need him to step up. I think Patterson needs to step back up.
Yeah, Elias. Yeah, I think if you're Vancouver and you miss the playoffs again, it's blow up time. It is like you talked about it for Columbus, but I don't have expectations for Columbus versus a Vancouver team has expectations every year to make the playoffs. And Quinn Hughes is a generational defenseman.
It's a different kind of expectation.
Yeah.
You expect them to make the playoffs, and this is your time to be good. Prove to us that we're good. We need to strike now while the iron's hot. Let's get a couple of pieces, add in here, and go for the cup. Whereas what I said for the Blue Jackets, it's, look, we've given you young guys years to develop and prove it. Do it. It's more of are you going to do anything? Figure it out. It's a different kind of pressure. It's but
I will, for Vancouver, they got to figure it out. Honestly, if they don't figure it out, they are a team that you need to sell the farm to figure it out. Especially Patterson and some of them.
Yeah, that's a yard sale I'd want to be a part of too.
Exactly.
Let me get into that Patterson sweepstakes.
This team here, I'm actually super high on, and it is the Anaheim Ducks. Now, I want you to follow me here. I have them as a wild card team because I think the youth movement for Anaheim, paired with the veterans that they have added, with the understanding that Lucas Dostel is your number one in net. You're starting, I'm not going to take an assumption to what the starting lines are, but your centers, you got Leo Carlson, who's already a freak at 20 years old. Mason McTavish, also another great player. They added Ryan Strome and Mikkel Granlund to help that youth movement. Mikkel Granlund's a 70, 80-point player. Same with Strome, right? Cutter Gauthier is a freak. I watched him at Boston College, and he was unbelievable how good he is. If he can get consistent over there in Anaheim and start goal scoring and maybe being a 30-goal guy, Anaheim's taking another jump up. They added Chris freaking Kreider, dude. From New York. They have the killer, Alex Killorn, right? They have Troy Terry and Frank Vetrano. They have this guy, Beckett Senek, from, I think, their first-round pick 2 years ago. The only question mark, really, is the defense. Because you have Gudis, you have Lacombe, who just got the largest contract in Anaheim history, Mityukov, and Truba, and then Zwelger and Hellison. So the defense isn't really proven, but the forwards, looking at their top 6 to top 9, looks really, really good on paper. Just a matter, can they stay healthy, and will the pucks go the way that they want them to get into that wild card? Any thoughts on Anaheim before I move on?
I think you hit it right on the nail. The forward group has plenty of talent, but it's I've kind of said it for a couple of teams. It's one of those that potential has to turn into consistency. It can't be, we can't keep talking about, oh man, this guy's going to be so good. He just needs a little, no, your potential needs to turn into progress, and I need to see progress from you. Now, Killorn's been around, I feel forever, so there's...
And Mason McTavish is in a contract year. So, this is really hey, man, it's time to buck up, man. We got to go. You got to turn out to be an 85, 90 point. Somebody on Anaheim has to be in the 90-point range for them this year in order for them to really smell the playoffs. Being a bunch of 60-point guys ain't going to cut it. Cutter Gauthier is designed on this team to have 30 goals and 85-plus points. That is my expectation for him. Same with Mikkel Granlund. I need Mikkel Granlund to have 80 to 70 points. And maybe I'm wrong statistically on them, but in my mind, that's for Anaheim and the way this team is being positioned. That's the way they have to do it. Somebody on the team's got to get to 80. Los Angeles, I feel like the real question mark is just, can you get past Edmonton in the playoffs?
It's been 4 straight years.
I know what you have. Your team's really good. I love Quentin Byfield. Anze Kopitar's last year. You have Darcy Kemper in net, so goalie's not really an issue for me. Right? You have Denault, you have Turcotte, you have Fiala, Fogle, Kuzmenko. Quentin Byfield's filthy. On the defensive side, Brandt Clark is also disgustingly good. Apparently they have Joel Edmondson. I haven't heard that name in forever. But like again, you have Darcy Kemper. Like I think the legitimately only question mark is can you get past Edmonton in the playoffs? And speaking of Edmonton, you re-signed Connor McDavid for 2 more years, $12.5 million. What a steal! First off, what a generous contract that is. That's Connor being like, I'm willing to take less money for you to get what you need to go for us to go win a cup.
Yeah, that's what Brady did for years for the Pats.
That's what I think Crosby did for the Penguins.
Yeah, Crosby did it as well.
So the question mark for Edmonton is, can you win the big one? That's the only question mark that all Edmonton fans have is, can you win the big one? Anything other than that is a failure. You know, Connor McDavid's going to be nasty. Leon Draisaitl is going to be nasty. They added some young bucks to the team. I think Isaac Howard's going to be an underrated depth player for them to start because he was the Hobie Baker winner in Michigan State.
Yeah, they added some depth and the defense looks good. I mean, this is definitely...
They got Evan Bouchard, who...
Do they have one more year after this, or is this it? Like, that championship window is so tight, and I want to be like, this.
To me personally, you're creeping into Buffalo Bills territory of the legacy for what you are going to be is the ultimate could never win the big one. You know what I mean? He's gone to two straight where it's like, okay, the Florida Panthers are a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
Right? We know that. And ironically, we didn't really talk about them, but we know what the Florida Panthers are.
Right now, like, we know they're going to be all right. Like,
because by the time
like
April comes,
team to me.
By the time April comes, Matthew Tkachuk's back.
Yep.
Right? They're probably going to trade for a big fish to replace Barkov, right? And then Marchand is going to be phenomenal. Reinhart, Greer, I'm missing another guy.
Rodriguez.
Still, why am I blanking on this guy's name? That was going to bother me. Like, you still have Bob in net. You have a filthy defense core of Nico Mikkola, Sam Bennett. There we go. And you have Verhaeghe, Lundell, Listerinen, right? The defense is Mikula, Kulikov. You have Seth Jones, Ekblad, and Bobrovsky, and it's just like they're in no rush. It's for them. And for Edmonton, I feel like the window has to be like you have to win it this year. Because if you don't win it this year, you really have to look at your roster and go, what are we missing? You have 2 of the best players in the world of hockey right now. And last year, it wasn't goaltending. They simply just got outplayed.
Yeah.
So is it an effort thing? Then you got to go find guys to go be an effort guy. But then what does that say? I don't know. Like if you're Edmonton and you get to the cup again and you lose a 3rd straight cup, I don't know how you mentally survive that as a franchise. Like could you imagine that? Like it's almost like I guess a good scenario to put it in your shoes would be like if the Celtics didn't win that championship, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
After they've been like knocking on the door, after losing to the Heat, getting to the conference finals, losing to that, and then they get back again, and they obviously crushed whoever they played.
I feel like we also always had so many different teams. You had the one team that was led by Isaiah Thomas. You had the one team that was Kyrie. You had one team that was Kyrie and Gordon Hayward with Tatum kind of growing into his own. And then you had the Scary Terry team. So it felt like every year was a new team, and you didn't really know what to expect, whereas this year, you know what to expect. Like, it almost, I feel like it'd be better for, like, the Patriots. Like, you expected them to go in and produce, but they didn't win every Super Bowl. They lost everyone against the Giants. They lost to the Phillies, or not the Phillies, but to the Eagles, and it was just should have lost to the damn Seahawks, but run the ball.
Out of that division, I have Vegas, Edmonton, Los Angeles, and Anaheim making it. I've already said it. I think it'll be Colorado and the Florida Panthers again in the Stanley Cup, and I have Colorado winning it all. Hunter, you're tired. I need to let you get off. I appreciate you jumping on here. Great. I love just talking puck. Puck is back. I'm real happy about it. I'm loving it. He has been.
I was gonna say I'll be at the Lightning game tomorrow night.
Yeah. Well, you talking about you talking Saturday?
I'm talking tomorrow. Tomorrow is the home opener for him.
So tomorrow is yesterday when this podcast released.
Oh. Well, the game was great yesterday.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. I really enjoyed myself. I had whatever our drink sponsor was. I had several of those, and it was great.
He has been, make sure you give the Green Dog Podcast a listen. He is on TikTok, Instagram. Give him a follow at the Green Dog Podcast. He has been your college football savant, the Hunter Malone. I have been your host, Jacob Pro. We have been to Deal with D&J.